all new users get a bonus of 50 cents. The best Dota 2 chest opening website that features a reputable, provably fair system has launched a new event. Dota Boom gives all new users a bonus of 50 cents for opening chests. You don't need to make a deposit, just log in. Okay, what am I supposed to do with it? You can open a treasure chest right away, for example, the Wisdom Rune chest. In addition to other cool items such as Sea-Rake's Bridle, there's also a Juggernaut Arcana there. It's simple. Go to Dota Boom by clicking the link in the pinned comment, grab your bonus, sell cheap items, however Arcana items or other expensive skins you send right to your Steam account. But that's not all. Every day, the top 20 most active and lucky players will share skins worth over $100 and $300 every week. For example, this guy wins an Axia of Matera, and this dude gets a Golden Infernal Chieftain. Enter this promo code even if you've already used another one, and you'll get a bonus of 5% on your deposit and another chest from us. Hurry up, it will be available until December 11th. Click the link, activate the promo code, and get your bonus right away.
Hey, what is up, guys? It's your boy Speed here, and today we're going to be going over the top 5 pause forwards of the patch, breaking down, some of the item builds, some of the skill builds. I also have an honorable mention, so I guess it's top 6 technically. But yeah, I'm excited to talk about what I think are the best heroes of the role. I did adjust this mainly for what I think is good for the average player. Obviously, my opinions are a little bit biased by my own bracket and by the pro scene, as I'm very much intertwined with that. But I tried to balance it out between my opinions on the pro scene and my opinions on pubs. So let's hop right into it. Okay, getting into the honorable mention, we first of all have Shadow Shaman. I think Shadow Shaman is just a staple of kind of average pubs, mainly due to the simplicity of the hero and his ability to punish bad play, right? The first thing about Shaman that makes this hero incredibly stable is the hero's natural ability to open tier 1 towers. Frankly, guys, opening tier 1 towers is one of the best things to do in Dota, right? When you open tier 1 towers, it just makes it very hard for the enemy to farm in the early game. They have to take very dangerous positions with no backup because there's no way for their team to connect to them, right? There's just no tier 1 tower. And so very frequently it's going to set up very easy kills when you take tier 1s. And when you take the tier 1 with his massive serpent ward or basic serpent wards, depending on the facet you take, you can then get a lot of pickoffs because you have stuns. So the formula for Shaman, very straightforward. Get your ult and use your frickin' ult. Go get it out on the map. It's a very low cooldown. I think it's 135, but the duration I believe is 45. And so it's basically a minute and a half, a bit more than that. Very low considering the ability is basically a guaranteed tower. And if you're really finding your moment, it can be a kill, right, on a carry who's under their tower into the tower, which is turbo impact, right? If you can get that done, you're going to have a lot of impact in your game. So yeah, I mean, in terms of item build, skill build, it's the honorable mention. Not going to do it, not going to spend as much time, but typical Blink, Aether, Glimmer, then into BKB. Eventually you can get into a refresher and try to get down double massive serpent ward with some of your later talents. It's you scale incredibly well. So yeah, stable hero, take the tier 1s. That's my use serpent ward off cooldown and you're gonna have good impact. Okay, getting into number 5, this is one that is very popular in the pro scene, and that is Snapfire. If you haven't watched any Snapfire recently, I would say this is one of the most stable pause forwards in the game, mainly due to the fact that it's just going to guarantee that your team can get kills in the mid game, right? Snapfire's ultimate Mortimer Kisses is basically the highest damage nuke in the game in the early game. It is a reasonably long cooldown at 120 seconds, but it makes up for it considering it can kill full HP Dragonite with a stun. And so yeah, I would say the main thing that I love about Snapfire is the consistency of the hero. All you have to do is at level 1, skill a little Shredder, trade with a little Shredder. This ability is pretty crazy how much damage it deals. You'll see it if you try it out. So you trade with a little Shredder. Level 2, generally take your Q. Sometimes you can take Cookie. Depending if you have kill threat or not, maybe you're laning with, a centaur or axe or something like that, you can scale up your Cookie, look for kills. But in general, play it stable. Skill build, you generally max your Q. So 411 or 412, depending on the lane. You skill your ulti, then you max your Cookie. And in terms of items, guys, what I really like about Snap is this hero is not item dependent at all. You don't need a blink, you don't need any of that. I mean, basically blink, right? And that's the main item that a lot of heroes are often dependent on. You don't need a blink, you don't need a force staff, so you can just buy anything that's good for the game. You don't even need a mana item. That's another one. Skywrath plus 4 basically needs a Kaya, So you can buy a Solar, Glimmer, you can buy a Force Staff, you can buy a Blink, you can buy Aether for that Cookie range and ulti range. I'm a big fan. My favorite inventory on this hero is Aether, Glimmer, Force Staff. And the reason why is when you have an Aether, items like Glimmer and Force Staff become way better because you don't have to go out of position to use them. The biggest drawback of Glimmer and Force Staff is these items' bad cast range. And so Aether on Snap, it just feels so good with the Q. The Cookie cast range is a big limiting factor of this hero. Aether helps with that. I love that. And the last thing about this hero is the wave shove, right? You can one-shot creep waves with max Cookie and max Q. A lot of players also like picking up Snapfire Shard, lets you one-shot creep waves with just Cookie. And last thing to mention is this hero has some of the best talents in the game. Honestly, as a support, it might have the best talent tree in Dota. Level 10, burn on the ulti, it's 35 per second, really high, also works with the Shard. The 15 talent is Cookie cooldown. The 20 talent's Cookie charges too. 25 is ulti's launch, it's like +8, it's like a 50% increase. I mean, this hero's talent tree is like something insane. Okay, let's get into number 4, which is Nyx Assassin. I think a lot of the melee 4s are pretty good right now. One that I didn't put on this list that I do think is top tier if you are a hardcore specialist and higher MMR is Tusk. That hero probably could have been an honorable mention, but let's talk about Nyx for now. Okay, so Nyx Assassin. This hero's main drawback is its laning stage. It has a horrible laning stage. Its stats are terrible, its abilities are not good. So what is redeeming about this hero? It's the mid game. This hero's mid game to late game is just insane. The presence of Nyx Assassin on the map is probably the highest of basically any hero in the game. When Nyx has ulti, especially with the Scuttle Facet, he's just anywhere in an instant, and it's kill threat anywhere in an instant. This hero also basically forces the enemy pos 5 and pos 4 to have to burn a lot of gold on sentries. This is the invis tax, as I like to call it, right? If you're playing against Riki, Bounty Hunter, Weaver, Nyx Assassin, the enemy pos 5 is just a lot more poor than they would usually be because they have to drop random sentries down everywhere to cover their carry, or they're going to get screamed at when their carry naturally gets caught by Vendetta. So yeah, I would say a big thing about Nyx Assassin is the constant threat on the map. Also, again, kind of similar to Shadow Shaman, people are just out of position a lot, and you can just kind of find these guys and pick them off. And then really after that, I would say the scaling of Nyx into the mid game is just some of the best in Dota. If Nyx gets away with a free-ish early game, it's just hard to match this hero's impact. It has 2 stuns and arguably the best scouting ability in the game, because what a lot of people do, pros do, is they'll walk into the enemy team, not an ulti, right? So they're showing. Then if they see the enemy, they will turn on their ult, haste movement speed. It's actually more than haste, movement speed, and they can run over the cliff. The Scuttle Facet lets you run over the cliff, so you can literally walk in areas alone. If you break on the enemy, right, break their smoke or just break their positioning, you can click your E, click your ult, and you're basically guaranteed to get out. And yeah, the biggest thing really is the fact that the hero has 2 stuns. There's not that many heroes that just like have 2 stuns that are that long duration and also low cooldown. Like, you know, you can think of heroes like Spirit Breaker and Earthshaker, and that's fair, right? That's definitely fair. These heroes exist, but like the way Nyx Assassin can do it on heroes, for instance, Nyx catching an Ember Spirit or a Storm or something, is pretty unique. It's very hard for these heroes to react because you're coming from invis, and so yeah, you're just a real presence on the map. Okay, getting into number 3 is Skywrath. It's pretty crazy for me to put this hero here, but I've been really, really impressed with this hero every single time I've seen it lately. It has 2 good facets. I'm a much bigger fan of the facet where when Skywrath casts spells, he gets a barrier. It kind of just makes this hero really, really tanky. And if you've been watching any of Crit's gameplay, he basically always rushes a Kaya, right? So he picks up a Kaya, and you might be like, okay, so he's going to be really squishy. But the reality is because you're pumping out spells with Kaya, you have this barrier from your facet, and you actually become very tanky very quickly. He then often buys a Kaya Sange, not in every game, it's matchup dependent, but he often buys a Kaya Sange, which gives you even more of a mana pool, right? The Kaya gives you mana regen amplification, Kaya Sange gives you mana cost loss. It basically makes your spells cost less mana. You get really tanky and have just enough mana to spam your Q, and so you can have a variety of skill builds. I've seen people do different things. You can max QW and then have 1 point in E. You can max Q and E. I've seen W and E, but honestly, if you're gonna buy a Kaya, which I generally recommend, it's just like Null Talisman, Wand, Boots, Kaya. I'm not a fan of skipping Boots on this hero. I think it's bad. Null Talisman, Wand, Boots, Raindrops, Kaya. After that, it can be a Ghost Scepter if you need it against certain matchups like Storm or something like that. It can be Glimmer, but generally, I just recommend like Kaya Sange, then any tank item. Personally, some people also go Meteor Hammer, which is pretty cool. It lets you kill waves with your concussive shot, which is, I mean, it's cool. I'm generally a bigger fan of just like not buying the Meteor Hammer, but people like it. You also do some casual building damage. It's cute. You know, it's cool. It lets you kill waves. But generally, I like the Kaya Sange with like a Ghost Scepter, and then your Shard is excellent. If you don't know what Sky Shard does, if you can get to Kaya Sange Shard, you farm like crazy because every time you cast your Q, it shoots out on 3 units. So you can kill creep waves with WQ, and you can kill neutral camps very efficiently with the occasional Clarity and spamming your Q, and you can get really, really farmed, and you scale very well. This hero has good talents. It just does 1 billion damage, and when you have this barrier facet and you're buying scaling items, this hero actually just becomes kind of another semi-core. It's really weird because Sky historically could not farm. The hero would basically be an ulti bot, and that was it. It was a silence and an ulti bot. Now you can scale. It's really cool. If you haven't tried it, it's a fun build. Go give it a shot, and then eventually you scale into Ags. That's basically the main thing. That's like the scaling item. It's Ags. It just like multiplies your abilities. Okay, coming in at number 2, this one's kind of crazy, but I do believe it deserves to be here, and that is Pudge. Pudge has actually seen its rise in the pro scene. I wouldn't say it's become like hyper popular. I'm not going to claim that, but it's seen its rise on teams like Mouse specifically, and this hero is just good. The reality of Pudge is it just does a lot of things very well. In the laning stage, this hero is a presence. Unless it's against its like really bad matchups, for instance, like some Batrider, maybe against like some Zeus can be tough. Maybe like a Tusk can be a little hard. Tusk +1 can be hard, but if you're not against these matchups, and even against these matchups, I've laned Batrider against Pudge, and he was with an Axe, and that lane was just hard because this hero's hook just does 150 pure damage, and at level 2, you have the Rotten Core facet, and you can solo kill most heroes with a Blood Grenade, Rotten Core, and Rot damage. You kill most of the cast almost from full, basically alone. If they don't have the right abilities to get you off of them, you can solo kill people. This hero is just good in the early game. Then in terms of rune presence, you can easily steal the minute 2 rune with a hook. You have a lot of threat on mid. If you're especially paired with your hero's good combos like an Ember Spirit mid, Pudge plus Ember Spirit is just nasty. We've seen Mouse run this combo, and you know, I'm not surprised why. Hook, you know, chains in a hook is just really hard to deal with. Most heroes kind of just die to it, or at least are super low health, and then they get kicked out of the lane. Now, in terms of progressing into the game, Pudge scales extremely well. This hero's scaling is great. First of all, hook is just a great ability. It's BKB control, right? You can hook people when they're BKB'd. You can save allies when they're BKB'd, so it's just kind of a anti-BKB ability. Dismember is BKB control, which I would say is not, it's a little fake until super late if you happen to get a BKB, because frequently you'll just get canceled if you try to like dismember some guy who's BKB'd in a mid to late game team fight. You kind of have to hit the hook on the guy first so he's out of position. That is a real thing. The bigger thing is just being a save. If you're good at Pudge and you're good at Dota, you're going to be able to identify what is the enemy's kill combo. What is their, like, let's say they have a Dragonite or a Beastmaster. This guy's gonna roar, this guy's gonna stun. If you're in position, if you read this, a simple hook is game changing. It's one of the best abilities in the game, hands down. And then in terms of just finding good hooks, if you just find the right moment, if you're able to hook the enemy into your entire team, you're basically guaranteed to win the fight, because your positioning of your entire team is going to be OP. And then in terms of Meat Shield, this ability is just great, right? I'm a big fan of the Pudge skill build where you have like 3 points raw, max Meat Shield. You don't even have to max hook on support Pudge. You can unironically like have points in W, have points in E, and then you can scale. You can farm neutrals. And also in team fights, the reason why I think a lot of people mess up on Pudge and don't get as much success as they should on this hero is they just have too many points in hook. Like, in my opinion, you want your E maxed out basically as soon as possible. This ability scales insanely well. It goes down in cooldown, up in duration from 5 to 8 seconds, and the block becomes, I mean, it just becomes way better. It's crazy how much damage this hero can soak as a support. And often what you want to do in fights is you want to hit a hook, right? You want to hit a hook, you want to get gone on, and you want to live that go, or at least make the enemy have to commit a lot of spells, a BKB, in order to deal with you. And if you have max Q and max W, you can't really do that. You just explode. The E is not good enough. It only lasts for 5 seconds, and it doesn't block that much. But if you max it out, and you can get, really get a lot of skill points in that ability, you just become an actual tank, and I'm a huge fan of that. So in terms of items, in terms of skill build, I would generally say like, 1-1-1 in the early game, or 1-2-0, right? And then at level 4, please take Meat Shield. I hate this like 2-2-0. I think it's just complete garbage. At level 5, I think it depends. I think the second point in hook is fine, but I'm generally a bigger fan of 1-2-2. I really like 1-2-2. Second point in Meat Shield, it completely blocks the rot damage. I'm fine with 1-3-1 as well. If you want to do a little bit of extra damage, that's fine. Level 6, you take your ult. After that, I honestly think 1-3-2 is basically required in my opinion, and then 1-4-2. After that, You don't have to max the E. If it's not a good game for it, you can max the hook, for sure. If you think you can tank up, you're having a good game, B144. Oh, and last thing for items, there's a lot of different items. You can go Tranquils into like Blink, Tranquils into Force Staff. This hero can literally be like a Solar Crest hero. It can be a Glimmer hero. I think Solar's a bit better in general. It just kind of gives you the ability to have a mana pool and a bit of armor, which this hero really lacks. Pudge tends to be better against magic damage anyway because of his E. A lot of spells are just damage over time. But yeah, in general, just get a lot of utility items like, you know, Glimmer, Blink, Force Staff, Aether Lens, like just be mobile. You want to be able to reposition, hit a hook, reposition, live, hit a hook, reposition, live, you know, click your Ghost Scepter, click your Glimmer, Force Staff out. You know, you just want to get hook after hook after hook and just continue to reset over and over again. And Blink is fine with that as well. Okay, and the best pause 4, this hero actually doesn't have the highest win rate, but I do believe in terms of consistency, it is Spirit Breaker. Spirit Breaker is just kind of stable, super stable. Really the big thing about Spirit Breaker is his innate, in my opinion. I think this hero's innate just makes it one of the most consistent heroes in the game. If you don't know what Spirit Breaker's innate herd mentality does, it gives 50% bonus XP to the lowest level hero on your team. Now, this is crazy because really a big thing about the early game is level 6 timings on supports. Whoever hits level 6 first, or just hits level 6 at good timings on both their supports, has a massive advantage. A lot of early tempo comes from the level 6 timing from supports. And this innate just kind of guarantees that if you're having a good game, right? Because even if you're winning the game, it still works. If you're having a good game, you're going to snowball. If you're having a bad game, you're going to be able to recover, right? From picking up a Wisdom Rune, someone's going to get a lot of XP. From just soaking a mid-wave, someone's going to get a lot of XP. It just allows you to have very stable games. And so one of my favorite things in Dota right now is seeing combinations like Spirit Breaker plus Snapfire, Spirit Breaker plus Warlock, Spirit Breaker plus Ancient Apparition, Spirit Breaker plus any sort of really strong level 6 timing. Any of these heroes where they hit level 6 and they just kind of have that button that's going to kill someone. Someone's going to die to a Warlock ult. Someone's going to die to Snap ult. Someone's going to die to AA, right? Any of these combos are just really straightforward, really easy to play. And if you can find these in pubs, it's just going to be easy Dota. And in terms of this hero's execution, the laning stage is not the best, but you're pretty tanky, fine movement speed, so you can block the small camp over and over and over again. You can snipe couriers. You can go for the water runes mid, right? Just kind of charge mid, take the water rune. You can, you know, TB to the safe lane, charge the enemy offlaner, or you can drag creep waves, right? I would say the heroes early game, not the best. You just gotta, it's a little bit hard, similar to Nyx Assassin. You gotta know your options. You gotta know when to drag, you gotta know when to TB to the safe lane, you gotta know when to contest runes. But if you get good at this, you're gonna be chilling. And really the main thing I suggest is try to give your offlaner a lot of XP. Again, you will recover because of your innate. And so all you have to do is give your offlaner a lot of XP, let them be able to control the early game with their levels, and then, you know, kind of come back into the game with the fact that your hero is just going to be useful. Your 2 stuns, they both go through BKB. You're really good at baiting spells, similar to Pudge. You're really good at baiting spells with Bulldoze, right? You kind of go in, you have the Bull Rush facet, so you go in, you're really fast. The enemy will often waste spells on you. You tank them pretty easily, and you kite out and then do it again. And in terms of items, guys, I think this hero is actually very flexible. Generally, you buy phase boots. It's like your first item is like stick, raindrops, phase boots. You want to get the phase boots as soon as possible. Pretty basic. Just your charge does more damage, so you can run back and use your ulti and push them into your team, right? You charge them, click phase boots, move backwards with your fast and with your phase boots, ulti them into your team. That's really, really powerful. And then after that, it really is anything. Drums. Fantastic item, right? So your team can catch up to whoever you're charging, and so you can kite out. It also is just really good stats on this hero, right? Really nice to have some mana, some health. You can buy a Solar Crest, right? I've seen phase boots into Solar. If you're against Puck, buy a Shadow Blade, catch this guy. If you're against Storm, same thing. Ember Spear, you can buy Shadow Blade to catch these very mobile heroes that can otherwise react to your charge. You know, you can really just kind of switch it up depending on the game. In general, try to be more of a utility bot. I would say items like Drum, Solar, into Shadow Blade is like a really nice build. You can buy Ghost Scepter if you want to bait out certain spells. You can buy a Glimmer Cape, right? Like phase boots, drums, Glimmer, and just kind of get in there, eat some spells, kite out, just, you know, really take the attention away from your other teammates, give position, and be able to reset and do it again 15 seconds later is really high impact if you can get that done. And yeah, so that's about it. That's going to be all for the Pause 4 tier list. If you guys agree, disagree, let me know in the comment section down below. I will tell you you're wrong, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.